Okay, we've got a lot to talk about, and we've got a fantastic review to do. First off, I'm going to start with a discussion, then we're going to get into how I feel about this season of Castlevania Season 2. Discussion time. There is discourse online in regards to this season. There are some people that hate this season for its animation. There's some people that hate this season for its story. There's some people that hate this season because it still doesn't have Trevor and Sypha, which I don't understand the connection that people have to both of them, due to the fact that every other Castlevania game introduces new characters or new protagonists, unless it's like a trilogy run. There is discourse in regards to the plot for this season, which once again I do not understand in any way, shape, or form. Um, Sometimes I take a step back and I look at the spaces that I'm in regards to, let's say, TikTok, Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, and I see the discourse and I wonder whether or not the discourse is the algorithm pushing people who have opposing views in my direction. It feels like for every 3 videos I get of somebody with a horrible take, there are 7 videos of people just putting music over Richter Belmont just running around and fucking people up. So I don't know. Maybe it's the algorithm. Maybe it's me. Maybe this season is bad and I just don't see it because I absolutely love it. Who knows? Uh, but however you feel about it, comment down below as usual and let me know, because I want to see where exactly the community sentiment is gauged. I feel as though I fostered a well enough community on YouTube that there are people that have really good breakdowns as to why they like and dislike something, and I'll be able to gauge a little bit better by the responses in the comment section, basically. But getting into the review, I absolutely fucking love this season. This season was a step above season one in everything. I know a lot of people didn't like season one. Me, I liked season one, but it wasn't as good as the final season of Castlevania, the original run. I would say that this season felt, well, season one felt like a step back from season one of the original show. Season two was like, nah, son, we blowing everything out the water. Everything that they did in the original series, we're about to top that shit. The fight choreography in this is absolutely fucking fantastic. And I mean fantastic due to the fact that they take skills and abilities that characters use in the video game and perfectly apply them to the way the character would use them in the show. When Juiced is fighting what is her name? It's Maria's mother. I can't remember Maria's mother's name off the top of my head. But when is it a no, it's not Annette. Annette's the black girl. When he's fighting Maria's mother, he does the infinite daggers out of the out of the sleeves. The infinite daggers out of the sleeves, that's straight out the game. When he's fighting Erzbit later on, he does the giant ice sphere straight from the game. Um, he also does the ice shurikens that he throws out, also straight from the game. Absolutely love it. Richter does the exact same thing as well, empowering the whip, the ice shurikens, all that. Love it. I love when I see game things applied perfectly to show and movie things. Because a lot of the times there's this issue with going 1-to-1. So they have to find these really weird and quirky ways in order to implement them again. It feels like the first time you went to go see the Avengers and they team up and Cap blasts the not Cap. Iron Man blasts Cap's shield to, and then Cap bounces the shield to like knock a bunch of people down. That's straight out of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. People who played any of the Marvel vs. Capcom games, when they were doing their combos, like when Thor ricocheted his the hammer off of um Cap's shield to hit a target off on the side. Yeah, no, straight out of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So me seeing stuff from the video game inside the show I will always fucking love. The show also took a step up in the exploration of the world and defining the motivations of the characters a whole lot better, which is great. The fact that we get backstory for plots that were laid in season one, better defining stories for not only main villains, but then well, not only main antagonists, but also the secondary antagonists as well. A bigger exploration into like the way in which magic operates inside this universe, this divide between elemental magic such as what the Belmonts wield because of their Belnades blood from Sypha, and then this crazy area of light and shadow magic that um Maria basically wields, that is based upon emotion, where if she is negative emotion, rage, depressed, it's basically borderline demonic with the summonings. Like the void creature she summons is insane, but then once she's able to calm her emotions and approach it from a sense of peace, the creatures that she summons are based and bound in light. It felt a lot like the way in which Avatar deal with spirits, where when the avatar is in the spirit world, depending on the avatar's emotion, because they're tied with Rava, they either create horrors and turn the spirit world into a nightmare where the spirits start to mutate because of the negative energy, or they can create peace and balance when they're at peace and when they're balanced. I like that in regards to her character and the exploration of her powers that way. Also, I'm typically somebody that does not like side quests, but the side quest that both Maria and Juiced go on, essentially dealing with her father the abbot, but then also dealing with the kind of manipulations from her mother, is great because it sets up what I think is going to be the villain of season three if they get a season three for this show. I actually have to check to see whether or not, let me see something. Castlevania Nocturne season three. Did they get a season three? It's set up for season three, but it has not been. It's set up for season three, but it's not been verified by Netflix yet. So we're still waiting around for that to essentially pop up. Um, that feels absolutely fantastic. That is how you do a transition from your major antagonist without drawing away from your major antagonist in any way, shape, or form. Uh the final fights are fantastic. The fight between what's her name? Erzbeth and Drolta, great. The dynamic between the two is fantastic. Like when Drolta dies, Erzbeth has like this, like she's mourning because not only did she lose essentially her number one supporter, but she also lost what she saw as basically the one person in the world that believed in her the most, that she could do this impossible thing. Um, Fantastic. Loved it. I love their dynamic throughout the entire thing. I love the backstory that we honestly got for Drolta because she is visually one of my favorite designed vampires in this entire show. I love the way in which she's designed. I love the way she was designed in her vampire form in season one. I love the way she's designed in her night creature form in season two. It is absolutely great. Loved it from beginning to end. The journey that Annette goes on basically through the spirit world, fantastic. uh Discovering that there are different realms that belong to different gods, and then upon your death your soul will go to rest in the paradise of that god or get tortured in the paradise of that god, is a very very interesting concept. Also, her god was cool as fuck. He was just like, yeah, nah, like when y'all, you guys pray to me, so when you guys, when you die, you guys come to me and you get to relax here in this oasis in spring. And I watch over your descendants, and if your descendants wish to come here as well, they can come here as well. And I don't trespass into other gods' domain. It is seen as disrespectful, essentially. But then when you get to um Sekhmet's domain, you discover that um there is somebody else trespassing in that domain in the form of that creature that's basically keeping her there so that she can't get out to balance her scales. Love it. I love the fact that visually her design, she's based on like a serpent, so she has like the serpent slits, and she also has the serpent fangs. But if you wouldn't know any better, she looks exactly like a vampire. To anybody walking in who's been fighting vampires forever, her design looks like a vampire, and then she's just not. That's not what she is. And I love the fact that she basically calls the vampires like desecrated corpses, like these disgusting and filthy things, even though aesthetically they look super similar to her, which is one of the reasons why Drolta has those pronounced slits for eyes, is because she consumed her blood, and then that's also the reason why Erzbet looks that way as well. Love it, absolutely love it. The war that essentially happens, freaking Alucard running around and not only making comments on what he's been doing, seeing what he's been doing, and then the way in which he comments on, well, I haven't been here in like 300 years, or I haven't been here in like da 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 da. There's a lot of story to explore, like what happened to the Belmont Holdfast, where they had all their knowledge. What happened to Castlevania, since Castlevania was stuck there? What happened to Trefor? Is it still a city? Is it no longer a city? Who knows? I'm hoping that we explore the answers to those questions if we get a season three. I feel as though season three is going to end up taking us back to Castlevania, and that in and of itself is going to be super freaking interesting. Um, as I said before, the fights in this are fantastic. This has to be some of the best fight animations that they've put in the show. And I mean, there's a lot going on. Every single character gets their licks in. Every single character gets a chance to run the ones and piece up the main antagonists. They never heavily rely on Alucard too much. He's overpowered, but he's also fighting people that are like part demigod vampires. So it's understandable where, you may be the son of Dracula, but like I've got some god juice and I'm not going down easy. I like that. Having the characters basically struggle, then slowly come into their power, and then by the end of the season they're able to basically box with these people that were giving them trouble during season one. Also friggin' good. It felt as though Richter evolved as the season went on. It felt as though Annette evolved as the season went on. It felt as though Maria evolved as the season went on. Hell, it even felt as though Juice evolved as the season went on as well, as he rediscovered his power and got over his trauma. They even set up, like I said before, the villain for the next season, which is going to be a video in and of itself. I love this show. The music is fantastic. I know that there are comments about the visuals, but to be quite honest, I don't feel as though there is a dip in visual quality in any way, shape, or form. They've always had this really loose, stylized system for the way in which art style that they've used for the show. And it feels as though it's basically just a continuation from season one. I feel as though what's basically stuck in people's heads is the fact that Alucard in this doesn't look the way in which he did in season one. But in my opinion, Alucard in this looks more like he did in which one was that where he popped up? Was that Symphony? He popped up? Um hold on. I feel as though Alucard, was it Symphony? See, because now I gotta look. Yeah, Symphony of Night. He looks more like he did in Symphony of Night, and the argument could be that he basically fell more into his um vampiric heritage that he got from his father as time goes on, which is the reason why he looks that way. He looks basically like a super pale and uh ice blonde version of Dracula, and I think he looks great. He's absolutely fantastic. He looks like a fucking supermodel walking around left and right. But I can't stop talking about this series. I think, like I said before, I think season two is absolutely fantastic, and that they did a really, really, really great job just with everything from the music to the art style to the story being told by the characters through setting up intrigue for the next season and the next group of characters that we're going to be exploring down the line if they decide to basically have Richter and Annette go off and do their thing on the side and let Alucard step up and be the main villain for whoever the villain's going to be next season. I have theories about who the villain is that's going to be for next season. It's going to be a completely different video. But this is 5 stars. It's great. I loved it from beginning to end. The 30-minute episodes felt like you were there for an hour watching some of these episodes because of the information that you were getting, because of the fight scenes that you were getting. And then as soon as the episode ended, it made you want to basically click and continue on to like the very, very next freaking episode. I loved it. Let me know what you guys think about Castlevania Nocturne Season 2. Is it better in your opinion? Did you find it worse? And if you found it worse, why? Comment down below. Let me know. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.